Okay, so, I've made a Mobian drawing tutorial before, but this one is specifically for drawing Metal Sonic. So, let's get a reference down. We're only going to be focusing on the head and fingers, because, that is the only part that I was asked to emphasize on. So, when I draw Metal Sonic's head, and by God, do I draw this little guy a lot. I draw him pretty much the way I would draw any Mobian character. So I would start with a circle. That's a good circle. Let's say he'll be facing, he can face the same direction as he is in the reference, about like this. So you make the crosshair, do the circle. If you have to have watched the first tutorial to know what I'm doing, because I don't want to re-explain. So we do the muzzle, we do the eye swoop, yada yada yada, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. I think when I make these things, I get nervous because as I start talking, I start saying like the dumbest shit ever. Why did I say that? Anyways, I'm just gonna get this stuff out of the way. Not necessary at all. A lot of people draw Metal Sonic differently. I do not draw him with this mono eye that the official IDW artist draws him with, but I draw him with these angled eyes. So we do it like a sort of curved, sometimes I do it like this, sometimes I do it straight, and then a curve here. And then we got one eye. And then since he's kind of at an angle, you gotta be able to shrink this one down. And I have such a hard time getting it to look right that I tend to redraw these 3 or 4 times after just staring at them for a minute to see if it's actually something I'm comfortable with, because not all the time am I happy with it. Metal Sonic is hard to draw. He's got so many strange details that are unique to his character. So if you draw something like Amy, Tails, Blaze, Sonic, Shadow, they all kind of have the same thing going for them except for some minor differences, and then clothes, which, you know, no one likes drawing clothes. But Metal Sonic is so unique. He's got so many bits and bobs. It's just a lot to remember until you've like drawn them like a million fucking times, which I definitely have. What I'm doing right now is I'm just kind of shaping it up, trying to make what I think looks good. This is just for me having drawn him, you know, for so long and being used to being an artist. This is just eyeballing it really. But main premise is get his face down and then the eyeballs. This feels a little crooked, so I'm gonna, I might have connected their layers. Let me just separate that real quick. I'm just gonna do a little bit of this. Make him go like that. That looks better. Okay, so we've got his eyes. And the biggest part about drawing Metal Sonic for me is that when you're angling the face, you have to make sure that the nose is pointed in the right angle. So if he's looking down, if he's looking down, the nose will go like this. And then like the eyes will be like this, yada yada. Or if he's looking up, it'll go up to the side, you know, and then he'll be looking like that. That looks wrong. But that's the point. So you gotta really pay attention to where you want the nose to go. So I think he's gonna be kind of going straight out like this. It does overlap with the eye, so we gotta erase some of the eye. And then boom, we got Metal Sonic's nose. Metal Sonic is almost always drawn with these bolts on his cheek. I forget them all the time, but for this, we're gonna try to get all the details as accurate as possible. I used to draw Metal Sonic's ears like this, because, you know, I draw most hedgehog ears like this because they've got ear fur, but Metal Sonic is a robot, so he doesn't have that. But, so I kind of just imagine them as like a piece of yellow plastic that was just put on there as design. However, as of recently, I've taken this kind of 3D thing going on that I got here, because I find it more visually appealing. So what we do is we make sure one part of the line is down and the other one's higher depending on the angle. If you're looking straight ahead, you don't have to worry about that really. Just, you kind of gotta eyeball it. I am sorry, I don't have a trick for that. So you connect these at the bottom and then a curved line that kind of shows the 3D stuff going on to show that there's like an indent here, like there will be a shadow in this ear, because you can stick your finger in it. Just stick your finger in it. And then I always have a hard time kind of keeping these ears even, but with time, you kind of figure it out. Always do the ears before you do the quills, because the quills are probably one of the hardest parts. And if you get the ears down, you can kind of figure out where the quills will go, in my opinion. So we're going to base this off the top of his head. We're going to imagine, just follow my cursor here, we're going to imagine the swoop that's going on. And so we're going to follow that, this imaginary line that we've got in our heads. So it's going to go out like this. Maybe, I don't know. This part I do mess up quite a bit. Just like all the other parts, because it's fucking Metal Sonic. He looks crazy. And then under swoop. What I'm doing right now, there's a word for it. I think it's called finding lines. When you're drawing something and you're just not sure what you're doing, like say we're making a heart and we have no idea what a heart looks like. So we're kind of just making these small little lines until we find the right path that we're going for. So this is where finding lines could be pretty useful for unfamiliar shapes. I do recommend. Plus, I don't know, they're just fun. And so when you do the line art, you don't have to, worry about finding the line because you've kind of done all the hard work on your sketch layer. So that's what I use when I'm trying to find the line. So let's get all this mess out of the way. We've got his metal quills down. And then boom, we've got a Metal Sonic head. He looks a little off. Because, of course he does. He always looks a little off when I'm trying to teach someone how to do it. So let's see. I'm going to do more finding lines. Just eyeball it till it looks right. That does not look right. Oh, great goodness. Screams really loud. Like really, really loud. Okay, let's see. Let me zoom out and give it a good look. Yeah, no, we don't like that. Oh my goodness! So, whoops. Let's make a new layer so that way there's less consequences for going over the ear here. Okay, yeah, that's good. I like that. Whoops. So definitely takes a bit of, snooping around, trying to figure out what looks good. It gets annoying. You get used to it. It's part of being an artist, really. I'm sure everyone making these comics with all these crazy little details hates it just as much as I do. So we're only really focusing on the head and then the ears. So there's the ears. And then we're going to focus on the fingers. His entire arm is like a whole thing. I usually just do, I do the plate that his shoulder comes out of, I do a circle, and then I do the pipe that is his upper arm, another circle, and then this weird kind of forearm shape that is this blue piece. It's all crazy looking. It took me a while to like figure out exactly what I was going with that, but when I want to make a more detailed piece, I'll add this thing, I don't know what I would call it, but just like details to the part of the metal that would make him look more developed. And then this plate has this thing going on here almost all the time, this thing. But you didn't ask for arms, you asked for fingers. So I'm just doing this preemptively so I can draw the fingers. So when I draw his hands, I'm a little lazy with it. In my regular Mobian drawing tutorial, I said that when I draw hands, I start with a square for the palm, but that never gets erased. It just stays a square because he's got these little plates on the back of his hands that turn into fingers. So let's see, where's the thumb gonna go? Thumb would be on the other side, so we're not gonna see the thumb. I draw his hands as claws, so you don't really need to worry about finger joints when you're drawing Metal Sonic. Or like if you were drawing a normal finger, you'd have to be like, whoa, so 3D, and why did I say 3D? That's not the word, but like so fluent, so much motion going on. But you don't need that because he's a robot. He doesn't have that. So little claws and then 2 lines between each digit to show the joints of the fingers. And then, oh wait, the thumb does go on the outside. I'm just stupid. So let's see how we want to do this thumb. I think, yeah. With a thumb, you only want one joint because it's the thumb. It does not have to. But yeah, there we go. We have hands. And with this angle, you don't need to, but on some angles, you gotta keep in mind that the plate is 3D. So say like the hand is at this angle, and his thumb is here, just make sure to put this line, this one right here, as you draw his little fingies, just to really emphasize that it's not flat. Very important detail. So yeah, robot disassembled. He's in pieces now. Let's give him his arm. Wait, hold on. Is this on the... Okay, it is on the right layer. It's a little... It's something.